Hey guys, nice to meet you, and well, ICOP here, we're going to do a tank review. Now, as you can probably tell by the name of this video, it's a T-44 review. Now, why are we doing a T-44 review? Well, I don't know. It's a very good question. Probably just because that first replay I've got was just very troll, so I decided to put that up. Anyway, let's just start off with the history of this tank. This tank, I don't have the English history of it, and to be honest, this tank was just made to fight in World War II, just in case it continued. Basically along the same lines as the IS. It needed, Soviet Union needed better medium tanks to go up against the German heavies, such as the Tiger II, Tiger I really, even the Panther. The T-34-85 wasn't bad, but it just wasn't adequate. I know this tank was produced very late in the war, around the same time as the Pershing, so it really didn't see any combat. It saw combat, I don't know if this ever saw combat outside of World War II. But the point is, it's not really a historical tank. It didn't do any fighting. It wasn't that good. What was important about it is this is the first so-called modern medium tank that the Soviet Union made, because, well, I don't really have any T-34-85 to show you, but the T-34, like the hull of it, looked quite a lot like this thing. Better turret, of course, but T-34 essentially was this kind of hull, and it's okay, but it does seem very World War II like. So then you get this, and it's much better. It's got much better sloped armor, much better armor, and it's got a 100mm gun that really worked. The 85 only had an 85mm gun. So basically this was the evolvement of the 85mm, sorry, of the T-34-85. They needed a 100mm gun, and then they got this. So, well, what's so special about this tank? Well, it's got a decent amount of hit points, 1300. It's got 34.3 tons. 680 horsepower engine, which is amazing to be honest. Really good. 44 degrees traverse speed, that's pretty good. Armor 90 at the front, 75 at the side, 45 at the rear. That's pretty bad, even though it's sloped pretty good in the front. 120 in front of the turret, 100 and 100 all around. So I mean, meh, it's okay. It's not amazing. Wouldn't write home about it. The guns, we'll get to that in a second. Turret traverse is 48 degrees a second. View range is 380, pending a nerf. All tanks except for light tanks will get nerfed. And then 525 signal range with this, I believe it's stock radio. Yeah. Why was it? I thought I didn't have it unlocked. No. 730 top radio. I don't know why I didn't have that on. Anyway, well, if we look at the guns, you get a lot of guns to choose from. It's just like the T-34-3 to start. By the way, I should be going through like the whole tech tree of it. Research tree, I should say. So, I didn't grind this tank out. I've never grinded this out. This was already on the account when I got it. But you start with all this stuff. Nothing really special. I believe... Yeah, you already have this 85mm from the T-34-85. Well, if you did grind it out. I believe it's on the T-43 as well. Yeah, it is. Okay, so you've already got this from T-43. You've had this from the T-34-85, but well, first of all, get the tracks. Actually, no, don't get the tracks. If you need to, get suspension. I usually get the tracks last. Get your next turret because you need it to get all these three guns. Now, you got the options between the 100mm and the 122mm. So, really, I can't recommend any of these, but if you're going to have to take one, even though the 122 is a tier 8 gun, you gotta take the 100mm gun. I mean, there's no reason to have that 122, and I'll show you why later. But you go for this 100mm gun. You've got to suck up going through this thing. This one's pretty bad. I mean, all it is just crappy rate of fire, really bad accuracy, really bad aim time. It's essentially the Type 59's gun with less pen and worse accuracy. And then you go for this. These are pretty cheap guns. I mean, 16,000, 19,000, pretty easy. This one, 27,000 almost for a 122mm. I mean, if you want the 122, you can get that, but it's so bad. I just can't recommend getting it. I really cannot recommend getting that 122. And then a radio, of course, you get all that stuff, nothing too special. The engine is quite important because the engine will give you, well, you start with 560 horsepower, which is pretty bad. This tank is not that fast to begin with. That engine will just make it slow. Get this engine, but I highly recommend getting this top engine. 680 is amazing. But yeah, this is pretty much the research thing of it. Now, if you're looking at both guns, what gun do you want? Well, if you look at this, you notice the 390 Alpha, well, the penetration to start is the same. Alpha 390, which is great. This tank does need an Alpha boost. I've complained about that. So, the Alpha on the 122, like the 122 on paper, it seems okay. The accuracy is not that bad for a 122, and the aim time is horrible, but you can deal with it. It's Chinese level, but you can deal with it. The aim time on the LB1 is really good. Accuracy, not so much. It's decent. But what really kills the 122 is the reload time. 3.14 rounds per minute. Now, the 122's got pretty good alpha. Multiply that by 3.13, you're gonna get 1200, 1200 DPM. There is nothing that can succeed with 1200 DPM. That is horrible. That is a piece of crap. Don't ever use that. 1200 DPM, that's just like... Well, let's look at comparison. What's got 1200 DPM? By the way, the LB1 does have 1900. Still bad, but not horrible. But if we look at comparisons for 1200 DPM, if we look at the stock gun on the T-43, this is what you get on the T-34. 12 rounds per minute of 160 damage. That is almost double the DPM. That's like, that's 1800 DPM. Yeah, that's much better. Let's look at the derp gun. That derp gun, of all things, the derp gun has 2000 DPM. Well, it's expected, just because of the nature of the derp gun. Let's look at the T-34, 85. Let's go back to the T-34, and let's look at the 57 millimeter. The DPM is still over 1200, I believe it is. Yeah, it's got to be over 1200. Barely. The 76 millimeter. Let's look at that. 10 rounds per minute of 115. That's to 1200. The DPM on the 122 millimeter on the Tier 8 T-44 is the same as the 76 millimeter on the T-34. That is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I bet this gun has got the DPM. Okay, I take that back. But my point is, you're looking at tier 5 medium tank DPM with the 122. Sorry I had to stretch that out for so long, but really it is bad. It is horrible, horrible, horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So don't ever use that 122 millimeter. But anyway, let's just look at this in Tank Inspector so you can see the armor a little bit better. Okay, so we're in Tank Inspector here, and well, let's just start with the armor before we go to the soft stats. And the armor face on, you're looking at like 160 if you hit way up there, 130, 125 maybe. If it is angled, the best angling I can recommend would be about this level of angling. We'll say it's about a 30-degree angle, and even then, I mean, it's not really going to do much. I mean, you're looking at 140 now for your best armor. 115 if they can snipe there, but I don't think they'll be able to. It's just bad. Maybe, well, balancing it like this, maybe if close to a 45-degree angle is not so bad. 150 looks like the weakest spot on the whole tank. But still, the best you're going to do, 176. So, like another T-44, if he hits here, he might bounce. No one hits there. And even from like this angle, let's see. If you put the turret there, you shoot the cheeks of the turret. The turret is still so weak, incredibly weak. You just hit the side of the turret and it's gonna go through. It's just, there's no point. Hit anywhere on the side, it's gonna ricochet though, but the cheek, hit the cheek. It's so easy. So, I mean, even if we're talking about 170 pen, what a T8 does not have 170 pen over that? I can't think of any. I really can't. Maybe a Tiger firing high explosive, that happens, but I just can't think of anything. There's no point to the armor on this tank. It doesn't exist. If you are stupid enough to hit the cheek of the turret, or you miss, that's when you're going to get a lucky bounce off you. No one's going to bounce it. Look how bad this armor is. 120 if you hit the mantlet. 330 some parts of the mantlet up there. 120 if you hit the cheeks. Most of the mantlet you can pen. A tier 10 can pen, I'd say 75% of the mantlet. A tier 8 can pen 50% of it. That is bad. It's just sad. Anyway, let's look at, let's look at the Type 59's armor, by the way. Let's go back to here. Reference tank, Type 59, and let's just swap them. Now, Type 59's armor is not as pretty red as T-44, but don't let that mislead you. Face on, it's got essentially the same armor. The turret, though, is 200. I mean, you're talking about the strongest part, except for like that one blotch of 300 on the T-44's turret. And that's weaker. Like, besides that one spot, everything on that turret is weaker than this turret. The mantlet is very small, but it's an automatic bounce, pretty much. The cheeks, 210 if you're lucky. If you miss your shot, you're looking at like 250. Some tier 10s can't penetrate the Type 59 turret. If you angle the side any kind of bit, and it does seem like the Type 59 is longer, but it is thinner on the side. So if you do angle it like about this angle, 175, and then like most of this you can't pen. Like if you're a T-54, you're not going to pen. You can only pen about this area here. Sorry, T-44. You can penetrate pretty much all this lower plate here, but once you hit up here, kind of gets a little bit hard. Yeah, so that 175, that might not pen a lot of the time. So you're looking at problems. Like if you're facing head on, of course you're going to penetrate, but say you're, well, remember T-44 is low to the ground. If you're shooting head on like this, maybe a little bit underneath him, the lower plate you're not going to penetrate probably, and the upper plate you're going to miss a lot of the shot. Well, you're going to bounce a lot of shots. Or if you are under him by any chance, you hit the upper plate, you're bouncing every shot. Of course, you will penetrate the lower plate, but the point is, there is no spot where you can be, except for maybe like right here, where everything on the upper plate is. Sorry, there's no spot you can be on the whole tank probably, where you can auto penetrate the whole front of a Type 59. And it's important because on the Chinese server you do get Type 59 spams. Not so much on the North American server at all, but still it is a problem. So let's go back to the the T-44. Let's do a stats comparison with the Type 59. So the penetration is less, but it does do more. Wait, wrong gun. If we use 100mm, same alpha, better DPM. Because the rate of fire on this is pretty good. Rate of fire on the Type 59 is pretty less. Pretty much less. Type 59 fires 1.2 rounds per minute. This one fires 1.7. So it's better. Carries more ammo because running out of ammo on Type 59 happens a lot. This thing carries a lot more ammo. So I guess that's good. Maneuverability, besides action and aim time, which happens with the gun, I would say it's a push for everything else. Gun depression, though, it is 7 degrees, which is the same as Type 59. Mobility, it's got better specific power and horsepower, but doesn't have better top speed, not by a lot. And terrain resistance is much worse, quite worse. So there goes your specific power advantage. Not all of it, but I mean, unless you're going uphill, the Type 59 is just as good. Survivability, the armor is worse, as I've already explained. Scoutability, well, firing is a lot worse. I mean, you have better camo when you're moving or stationary, but once you fire, this thing gives off a bigger plume, so it's not good. And it's more expensive to run. I mean, it makes less money. Well, of course, never mind. But operation cost, the repair is more expensive. But of course, Type 59 is premium tank, so it's cheaper. It's better to play, whatever. Anyway, that's if you're using the 100mm. If you're using the 122 millimeter, and by the way, did I not mention that the Type 59 is a premium tank? It only sees tier 9. This thing sees tier 10. But anyway, if you are feeling confident enough to use the 122 millimeter, by the way, there's that 1200 DPM. Anyway, if we change our reference to the T-34-3, which you can get on the North American server or any server you play on, same penetration, same damage, but less DPM by quite a bit. And by quite a bit, I mean like 50%. The DPM on this gun is just bad. On the T-34-3, it is good. I mean, the T-34-3 is comparable to the T-44 with 100 millimeter. Because I complained about this tank needing more alpha. Well, the T-34-3 has that alpha and the same DPM essentially. So it's just why? Why? You know what? No, I'm not going to figure it out. The 122 millimeter only carries 26 rounds of ammo, but it's not needed. That's actually not needed at all. Maneuverability, it is worse in every way with the aim circle. Aim time's the same. Accuracy is better, but not by much. Depression is better though. T-34-3 has 3 degrees of depression. It is more mobile though. I'll give it that. But the terrain resistance is not that much better. So, I mean, still got pretty much the same problem as it had with Type 59. This is more mobile, but not by much at all. The armor, we'll look at the armor in a second compared to the two. Camo is much better, of course. And then economy, well, premium tank as well, so there's not much to see there. But let's flip the tanks around and just look at the armor. I explained that the armor on the T-44 wasn't that good. Well, the turret on this, I'll let it load. Turret is not as good as Type 59, but it is still much better than T-44. There's just, you can barely penetrate that turret, honestly. And the hull, I mean, I would say it's the same hull as T-44, but yeah, we'll call it the same hull. Slope back to roughly the same degree, although it can be kind of troll if you get the right angle. But the lower plate is a much bigger weak spot, so you can generally hit that. But I would say hull armor is a push. Turret armor makes the T-34-3 much better. So there's 2 premium tanks upclassing with each gun. I don't see the point of the T-44. And looking at the tech tree, which we didn't, let's look over here. Now, if we look at the Soviet tech tree, one of the reasons why people play the T-44 and put up with it is because T-54 is behind it. And yes, well, how long ago was it? Till like patch 8.7, I think it was? Or 8.8, something around there. Maybe 8.9. Anyway, until then, T-44 is the only way to get to the T-54. And yes, T-54 is a great tank. The objects are great. Well, back then, T-28 was a great tank. But now there's an Object 416 and a T-54 lightweight. The lightweight, if you can put up playing with the MT-25, the LTTB is a great tank. The lightweight is essentially a T-54 just at tier 8. That's pretty much it. The gun isn't as good, but it's still pretty good. It's got the T-54 stock gun, which is better than T-44's fully upgraded gun. It's got essentially the same armor, same speed. There's no point. Why wouldn't you play a T-54 lightweight? Well, I don't like light tanks. That's what you might say. Well, Object 416. It's got a better gun than the T-44. It's got a tier 9 gun, essentially. The DPM is amazing. The armor is just as good. So, I mean, I don't see a point of the T-44. If you want the T-54, you play the Object 416 or the 54 lightweight. If you want that 100mm at tier 8, you buy the Type 59, or even if you want, you can buy the T-34-3, which we're not really going to look at, Dash 2, which we're not really going to look at, but it's got better penetration. It's basically the T-44, just with better penetration and a little bit smaller. That's the only difference. It's got less armor, but T-44's armor doesn't matter. Or, if you want to use the 122mm, you would never touch the T-44, by the way. But if you want to use the 122, you could even use it on the T-34-2. It's got a good 122mm. But if you want to use the, a premium 122mm, T-34-3 is better in almost every way. So I don't see the point. There's a premium tank better at this tank in every way. There's another tank in this tier better, and there's a non-premium tank that's the same copy as this that I think is better. So I don't see the point of it. But anyway, let's I'm gonna back up my hard talk with some gameplay. So let's jump right into our first game. Okay guys, so our first replay is gonna be on Karelia, and well, this isn't gonna be like the best game. In fact, it's gonna be probably the second best game that I'm gonna put up in terms of victories. But anyway, tier 10 game mostly, and look at all those artillery. Wow. Wow. 4 tier 10 artilleries on each side, mainly a tier 10 game. Not good for me. I don't like artilleries. Artilleries like me. And on top of that, I don't have the penetration to deal with those tier 10s. Even those tier 9s, tier 8s, I mean. Of course I can handle the 5100, but Centurion, yeah, sometimes. Jägerpanther, I'll need APCR. So, I mean, not the best start for me. Not the best game for me. As you'll see in this whole thing, that this tank just does not do well in tier 10s. Anyway, we go to the medium tank position, which is normal, although there's no STB up there. And we know there's going to be tier 9s and T-49 up there as well. So we are completely outclassed up here, but I'm going to go here anyway. And bang. Yep. That was very fast way to die. That's what that was. So now there's only an STB up on the hill here, and now I'm not looking too worried, but it's still an STB, which is not really what I want base up the hill. Artillery misses me, so there's 1 shell in, 2 shells in. We just see a
Мехлот контужен. Скорость движения и поворотов снижена. Повреждение гусеницы. Шанс разрыва увеличен.
And is that going to be it? I think that's going to be it. Okay, and now we see Jägerpanther 2, and he is looking at that hill like he wants to go up it. No, go away. Splash. It hits me. I'm not sure if it's right. It's probably a splash. And that was another artillery shot. So, yeah, all the artillery is focusing on me right now. That's great. Now, we want to go to 7, but we can't get the shot in. Shearing does nip us, so we're going to get out of there. And that's going to be costly, seeing that shot on T-7. Now, we're going to go back up here. And, and the J-Panther's there. Great. I cannot penetrate the J-Panther friendly. I know he misses his shot. I switch to APCR because I know I'm going to need it. I'm going to go around here and get the shot on. I don't know if any of you saw that. Let's rewind. There's something in the background there. I just noticed right now. Okay, so let's go. Watch this BK-7201 down there. You're not going to be able to see it. Battle into the Jägerpanther. There should be E100 there as well. Okay, so behind it we do see an E100. It's really hard to tell. We've got 2 Death Stars, a T-28, an E100, a T-54 lightweight, 5100, and an ST-1. Sorry, ST-1. Watch the E1. Look at that. 220. I don't know if that was the FV or an artillery. It must have been an artillery that fired that shot. Anyway, 220 on the E100. That is so troll. And the Panther 2 was the APCR. And now we've just got to worry about this STB-1. And we're going to kind of swing around him. We don't really want to face him when we want, because he can one-shot. So we're going to fast forward this a little bit. Get around here. And now we're in a better position for our artillery cannot hit us, because that's also a big problem. And the STB-1 is cornered pretty badly. He's going to get hit by me, ST-1, and I'm coming around as well. Hopefully ST-A-1 the STB-1. And he should soon be dead, although we might get the flash into them STA1 finish. Oh, 51,
Танк уничтожен.
but the 57 heavy finishes me off. So, I mean, overall, not a particularly good game. It's just kind of funny to see all those artilleries, but there's nothing you can really do. I mean, I had to load APCR to go through the Panther 2. STB1, sure, I can go through that, but it's a medium tank from the rear. So I can't hit it 57 heavy. I don't have the accuracy to snipe these guys, and I don't have the armor to brawl with them. So at tier 10, there's no place for this tank. Anyway, what replays isn't actually working, so I can't show you the post-game stats, but I can guarantee you that was not the worst game ever, because it did do damage, but it wasn't a good game by any means. So yeah, let's just move on straight to the next replay. Okay, so our second game's gonna be on Lakeville, and it's a mainly tier 8 game. There's 3 tier 9s on each side, and if you look over there, there is a T-44A. If you're wondering what that is doing there, that is someone spending $500 on a tank. Yes, it costs that much. The Object 260 is nonetheless a little bit more expensive, still affordable, in the affordable range of $1,200. Yeah. By the way, you also need to pay to become a super tester and get those tanks. So really, to get that tank, you're going to be paying like $1,000. So yeah, not really worth it. But whatever. Personal missions did come today, so that's great. We'll be able to get those tanks, and hopefully I'll have one of those tanks very soon. Anyway, we're going to go into the city. I'm going to speed this up quite a bit. There is a Borsig spotted there. I'm going to try to get the shot in. Kind of sped it up a little bit too much there. But we do miss. Yeah, we're going to go straight into the city in here. Now, I don't think there's going to be too many heavy tanks because it's only all 3 on their team. So I'm feeling pretty confident about here. Maybe I can get a shot or 2 over there if someone spots, but it's not looking like they will. But we're just going to wait here for a little bit. And I'm surprised I'm not being hit, but I must not be spotted, so I know there's no one around here. That T-55A is just wrecking havoc along the 4 line. And there's a KV-4 in like F4. Why? Well, why would a KV-4 go there? Anyway. Still no one here, so we're gonna go up. No one? No. Yeah. I'm gonna rush around here into this. I don't even know what that is. Spoiler room? That's cool. Sure. Anyway, we're gonna go around here. Around the back there. And with the walk trigger panther. First shot does not connect. And we're gonna kinda hide behind here, but then we realize he's not looking at us. Why isn't he looking at us? Oh yeah, there's a 111 and an ISA rushing. So let's we put a lucky shot in there, to be honest. And of course he's gonna focus on me even though the 111's gonna be so compare that, it's visible the ISA. The ISA did use heat. I believe it gets heat. If not, someone else used heat, but the point was heat applied. 13 now. Penetration, and 111 doesn't need them. So we take a shot from somewhere. Take a shot from 1390, and there's a Panther 2 there.
Повреждение гусеницы. Шанс разрыв. Уничтожен.
Middle of their base.
Цель захвачена.
Anyway, we're going to 11. We realize AP cannot penetrate him, so we're going to switch to APCR. Now, auto aiming here is going to aim at the hull, and as long as he points straight at me, when I put him on that building, it's going to go into his frontal plate, and it should be penetration every time. Second time I poke, I track him, but really only need one more shot, right? I'm going to go around again, and bounce, and look where that hit. Oh, I might have hit the center plate there, but still, I could have swore I hit it like right there. Anyway, it did bounce for some unknown reason. I don't even know. I don't want it. Because that plate should be like 120 today. Maybe 120. Second shot does bounce again. It's showing hit markers as if they penetrate, even though they're not. I don't know why I was doing that, but yeah, it hit the side and it did not penetrate. I know there's space armor there, but I didn't think there'd be that much. Anyway, yeah, he just needs to go through me, and that's just it. But the 1390 killed me. 1390 should be able to penetrate a tier 8 tank with this kind of armor. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, this game is pretty much lost 4-7. And there's a Type 62 against an IS-8. GG. Seen everything now. Anyway, let's look straight to our next game. Okay guys, so our next game's Mountain Pass. And look at that, there's a lot of Type 59s. Two tier 9s on each side. They are the IS-8 T10 variant. So they've got the IS-8, we've got the 111, which means we've got the better tank. And then two pretty similar tank destroyers. That's what's similar. And a lot of Type 59s. But once again, mainly tier 8s. And this should be good for my tank, right? Oh, you will be mistaken. Because even though this matchmaking is great for the T-44, Type 59 spam is not great. 59 spam is kryptonite. Anyway, we're gonna jump up here real quick. This is where medium tanks should go to shape the platoon, but a lot of Type 59s over there. We're gonna hopefully get a shot in. No, I'm getting a shot in this side. Maybe we poke around here, get a shot. I don't want to poke too far because I know I probably won't penetrate, and I know he probably will penetrate. And that's when we see SU-122 44, sorry, 54. So we don't want to be caught up there. He'll wreck us. So we're gonna avoid that. Maybe get a shot in on these Type 59s. Hopefully they can do more damage. It's a Chinese team. Why would they do more damage? That's ridiculous. We're gonna kind of pop up here. I think it's safe. Oh, there's more things.
Цель захвачена. Есть пробитие. Гусеница разбита. Движение невозможно. Есть отставить.
So 4 of them. And an SU-120 44. And that goes next.
Можно ехать.
So, really not that good. Now, if we stay up here, they need to come around and rush us, and we've got a lot of heavy tank. We've got the 111, 4, and FCM, I believe, and 2 other tanks hiding behind us. So, I think we're well protected. Our one tank destroyer camping way back there. He's still happy. But still, I mean, kind of held down. That FCM, I'm kind of worried about him poking over. That's up my turrets, my shot. I'm gonna hope maybe I can pop over and from above. And this is where a Comet would be really nice. Something like a Comet or Centurion, something with gonna push Hershey would be great right here. But, no, T-44. Got 5 systems. Great. So can't really do much. Maybe I can go over pop over, get a shot.
Пробитие. Пожар потушен. Цель захвачена. Командир контужен, видимо, снижена. Цель потеряна. Цель захвачена.
But yeah,
Попадание. Оставить цель. Цель захвачена. Танк горит. Танк уничтожен.
So, it's just, you can't fight a Type 59 face on, you gotta flank them, and this thing's just not fast enough to flank them. And that's kind of why Type 59 spam always wins. I guess it's because they had a platoon, we didn't, well not platoon, but like a bunch of the same tanks, we didn't, but I mean, there's just nothing you can really do in a situation like this. Even if I was back at the back, I'd be trading shots, I'd be maybe hitting more than Type 59, but be bouncing more. He'd be penetrating me every time. And that's kind of the downfall of this tank. It doesn't succeed against Type 59s. Anything that's equal or better, it just fails miserably. Kind of common sense, but it really does fail miserably. Anyway, let's look at our last game. Maybe our last game will have a little bit better hope this time. Who knows? Okay, guys, so our last game is going to be on Stalingrad. Look at this matchmaking. 4 tier 8s on each side, a couple tier 7s, and a lot of tier 6s. So this is kind of, it's now or never. If this tank does not shine in this situation, then I've already given up on it. But if it does not shine in this situation, then I don't know. Call me crap, call it crap, something is wrong. Anyway, so we're gonna run down this line over here. That's where we're doing a lot, but there's a lot of uselessness going on here. And we're gonna sweep across the 9-0 line. So they don't really have anything to stop. They've got 1059, and that looks like it. We've got more medium tanks, so we need to push here. And we do. We've got what we got behind us. We've got 1059 and T-69 sort of coming our way a little bit. But anyway, we do have medium tanks over here, so we're gonna sweep across. I could take out the Yag Panther there, but we're just gonna go all the way to the end, like all the way back. And then there was also a Yag Panther 4 spotted there, but don't worry about it. That's one there, and S-51 takes out an unspotted Yag Panther 4. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna hop up here. Maybe we can get some shots on something. And we got first shot in. And can we get the third shot in? So as you see there, it's just that's kind of the DPM letting me down. I mean, this thing does not have good DPM. That's something it should have. It's not gonna have good armor. It's not gonna have that great speed. It should have good DPM, like maybe 300 or something like that. Just because it doesn't have the pen, but the lack of DPM allows you to
Есть оставить. Цель захвачена. Есть оставить цель. Пробитие. Цель понял.
We do penetrate that miraculously because he's got good armor.
Броня не пробита. Есть оставить цель. Орудие повреждено. Точность стрельбы снижена. Цель захвачена. Пробитие.
I'm not going to bounce in. If I bounce in, I'm going to sell this guy. Anyway, we're going to finish the BK off.
Уничтожен.
And next one does penetrate us again, so
Цель захвачена.
fix the gun and
Есть пробитие. Гусеница сбита. Движение невозможно.
he tracks me
Цель
in this
потеряна.
damage, so it's kind of worrying, but it's fine. 93 at this point, it's over. But as
Можно ехать.
their ODF there, doing the stuff with damage. Artillery just barely misses me there, but I ended my game. Probably was aiming for a 10-9 in the first part. But whatever, we're gonna feast off the AFKs in the cap circle. BK dies, so we're gonna kill his T-74.
Цель захвачена. Пробитие. Цель потеряна.
So, yeah, now it's up 2 tanks, and we really have not done that much in this game. It's just done, no, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots worth of damage. That's only, I don't know, 1,500 at most. Well, that is exactly, not exactly, but about 1,500. So, we haven't really done the most of this game, but we did get a fire for a back, so that's good. It's good to head to T-44. Anyway, we're gonna kind of spin around here. King Tiger, gonna finish him off. I mean, I'm worried if he gets me out in the open, but once I get some allies, which I do have behind me,
Есть пробитие.
one shot
Цель
in,
захвачена.
and T-69 is not letting me go back. He finally does get around. It's not. I understand why he wants to go for full health, but it would have saved us more time if he had to let me go back. Anyway,
Броня не пробита.
Tiger rebounds again.
Есть оставить.
That is just bad on this up and he's dead. Maybe we can get a shot on the 5100. Can we snipe it? Probably not. Type 59 is there, and this T-69 once again making me slower, but this tank can't really be made slower. Now Type 59 takes 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, and oh, he does finally get killed by a ram. Now, Type 59 was in, like, he was being hit by the 5100 the whole time, so obviously they had a line of sight. 5100 doesn't have any armor, so why the Type 59 didn't just shoot him once, I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, so, final impressions on this tank, you know, I don't know, let's just go back to the garage and we can talk about it there. Okay, so, well, after all 4 of the games, what did we really find out? Well, we learned that the T-44 is not good in Tier 10 games. We definitely know that. It just can't handle itself. Even in Tier 9 games, it can barely handle itself. Just because it's adequate against premiums. Like you saw against the 111, the penetration isn't that good to go through the 111's armor. And I've had other games. Just gonna put one up about me circling tanks. It's just not that fast. A lot of heavy tanks have the traverse speed to kill you. So this tank, it can't perform. Even it barely performs against tier 8 premiums. That's what I'll say. Against the Type 59, I think it's not as good. We showed you earlier in this review that against Type 59, it's not that good. It really doesn't hold its weight as a tier 8 regular. It does need a better gun. I think it needs either a 100mm gun that does 320 alpha, or it needs better rate of fire. And probably better penetration. I mean, if you're sitting there with a Type 59, yeah, you've got the better rate of fire, but the Type 59's got the better penetration. And even though you've got better gun stats, the Chinese tank's got better armor. So you just can't really justify it. 'Cause to me, I think the Chinese tank is better, and that's not even a regular tank. So I don't know. This thing does need a better gun, or better armor, or more speed. That's one of the things. Now the armor, it's historical, so you can't really give it more armor. So, well, you can't even really give it more speed. Maybe switch to soft stats, but it really just does need a rate of fire buff or an alpha buff. To me, rate of fire buff would be good if it could fire a shot fire 8 or 9 rounds per minute. I think 8.5 seems to be about good. I know it's a big buff, but it needs a DPM buff. 1900 for a tier 8 medium tank that barely has the penetration to go through tier 8 tanks. It doesn't sound right to me. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoy this review. Hopefully, you've got an opinion on what tank to go down. If you want my opinion on this tank, like a final summation of this, I would say it's a bad tank. Not horrible, but it's pretty bad. I'll give it a 4 out of 10 overall. The gun is pretty bad. The speed's pretty bad. Armor's pretty bad. Everything is pretty bad. It's just not horrible in any way. But if you want a tier 8 tank with 100mm, and you're on the Chinese server, at least you get the Type 59. You need that thing. It's got preferential matchmaking. It's great. If you decide to run the 122mm, which I did not show you any games with the 122, it's not unlocked on here, and it's just, trust me, it's not good. If you decide to run the 122, well, no, just get a T-34-3. It's got way better DPM, and better armor, and just fast. So get that. If you want a tank that's just as good as this but better penetration, you go to T-34-2. If you want a tier 8 Soviet tank that leads to the T-54, you go for the Object 416, or you go for the T-54 lightweight. It's just, there's no reason to have this tank at all. I don't see it. This is a victim to power creep, and it is useless. Completely useless. I don't see the point of it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Kind of add that little bit at the end. I forgot about giving the final review. But subscribe to our channel if you really like our videos. It helps us a lot. Like the videos if you can. That'd be great. Share with friends. Comment if you've got any questions about tank or any of our videos. You'll probably be seeing at least one tank review every week, hopefully 2, but we'll see how that works out. Soon you're going to start seeing a tank review series of me doing the review in person at tank museums, so that's going to be pretty cool. It'd be like sort of like the Chieftain's Hatch with a review at the back of it. So yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy the new kind of reviews. But as always, remember, if you like our channel, support it. If you can, share it with others. And as always, stay awesome. Come back next time for more videos.